everybody and welcome back to a new video. Now yesterday I did make a video about Dusk Lycanroc. It was yesterday, it was just really late at night. Sorry for that. But Verlisify, yes, Verlisify. He made a video, or actually, never mind. He made a video, like, around 30 minutes ago called Dusk Lycanroc is awesome. Why the hate? Now, there's not much hate. It's only the design. Now, I don't want to talk about this whole video. I just want to talk about, like, this next minute right here. And when I watched this minute, I was, like, so mad. So, let's just watch it.
For this new
Oh yeah, Chandelure is playing Mario Party at the background.
form that now exists. Now let's actually talk about the forms themselves, because between Midday and Midnight Lycanroc, you don't have a lot of room to play with. If we were to get a new form that's kind of like a hybrid between the two, yeah, it would probably look something like that.
But we weren't really expecting a hybrid of the two. Yeah, Midnight and Midday, both them together is kind of like Dusk. But, like, the design looks too much like Midday for it to just, like, be right center in the middle. All it has from Midnight is the mohawk thingy. And that's it. Everything else is Midday, but with a color change. That's it. Honestly, I would think that Midnight's body with some, like, added things with Midday could have been better. But let's talk about the Dusk design first. Lycanroc, it doesn't really have many details, so, like, you could call it a Pokemon that's not too out there from Midday, because it's pretty similar, but Midday has a lot of, like, design in it. Like, it has the 4 things over there. It has, like, its face is pretty cool. I mean, it has, like, the bushy tail. Yeah, you have a lot of details there. When Midnight, you have, like, this mohawk thingy. Its body, the fact that it's, like, on its the fact that it's only on 2 legs. This little thing. You don't really have much. So the fact that they took the body of Midday, which would mean you have to put design details from the Midnight form to make it look in the center, they didn't really do that. Like, you could have just added, like, these black things over here on, like, its body around it, and maybe, like, it could have, like, this thing over here, it could have been, like, down more, like, Midnight. You see, if it had the body of Midnight and the design details of Midday, it would have looked a lot better. Like, the design of Midnight, like, right here, you know, like, make it orange, make it green, like it did with the Dusk form. And Midday, maybe, like, the 4 spikes, you could add that over there. The bushy tail, you could add that, like, somewhere over here. The claws, you got it over there, you can't see it. The up things, you could add it over there. Like, you have a lot of stuff to work with. But they messed up in putting Midday form as the main body and details of Midnight, which they didn't really do except for the mohawk. So I would have rather seen a Midnight form looking more like Midnight with design details of Midday.
And also, there's more aspects to it than just seeing the game reveal. That there's the anime reveal for this as well, because we had the new anime trailer, and I think it might also just be, like, a little bit of bad marketing, but I think if you can actually go through that and be responsible like what I'm doing, you can actually look at the full thing about this. I think that Dusk form on Lycanroc looks a lot better from the side than more like from the front and from these angles that we have during the game. The anime really represents Dusk Lycanroc.
It kind of does represent that. I'll put you there.
Really well, and it is a part of the reveal. So I think that when you look at all 3, yeah, it actually kind of fits, because let's think about it like this. In a world where they were all 3 released at the same time, just take what's on screen right now, just take it all in. That seems about right, honestly.
Yeah, but the problem is it was made separate. I think it was like a whole year. I think it was a whole year. from this, and the fact that it was put there by itself, making it a really big thing. Like for Alola forms, if that was like that was sort of put by itself. There was like something else at the background. I think there was like Alola forms. Since there was not much, that looked more big. And the difference between the Alola forms and this Dusk form Lycanroc is that Alola forms are pretty big, like Kanto Pokemon getting design changes from Alola, that's pretty good. But over here with Dusk Lycanroc, it was made by itself, and it was just there by itself. Nothing else happened. So they were trying to make it this big thing, but it's not really big. It's just another form of Lycanroc, which is pretty good. It's just that it looks too similar for it to really feel like this big thing.
That I don't know what people were expecting other than that. It's just that, okay, we have a new version, therefore people were expecting like a new Pokemon level of reveal. But
well, let me show you something right here. I just want to go incognito because, you know, whatever. This Pokemon right here, Kyurem. As you know, Kyurem does have two different forms, being... Oh, stupid ads. Don't mind the ads. Being White Kyurem and Black Kyurem. Now if we look at White Kyurem and Reshiram, or however you spell it, and then look at Black Kyurem and Zekrom. Like White Kyurem and then like White Kyurem, Reshiram. Those two look pretty different. The only thing is that White Kyurem only has like the white aspect. And Black Kyurem and Zekrom. It's not really much. It's only the color that's really similar. And those were different forms of Pokemon that were already there. So, yeah. I thought that this would, like the Dusk form would look a lot more different because with whatchamacallit, Kyurem, its other forms that resemble the other two Pokemon, it doesn't look really like similar like they did with Dusk Lycanroc. Now there are legendaries, but that doesn't really prove anything.
But really, I think they make a nice trio, and then we can even take the original game reveals.
Okay, they don't really look like a nice trio, because, you know, these two are really together, and this is kind of like apart from them, because it's really similar.
And it works, guys! It actually works really
No, it doesn't.
well when you put it into context, that the two images of Midday and Midnight Lycanroc, those are the official reveals from the trailer. This is the first in-game
together. Midnight looks like a whole different Pokemon. What are you talking about?
images we had of them, and then we put that next to the first in-game images of the Dusk form, and sure, it looks a little like Midday, but you can at least distinguish enough from it. I think the coloring really...
Yeah. What can you distinguish from them?
stands out. Also, unfortunately, having the reveal, I think it might be just a little too saturated in orange.
Let me go back.
Of Midday and Midnight Lycanroc, those are the official reveals from the trailer. This is the first in-game images we had of them, and then we put that next to the first in-game images of the Dusk form, and sure, it looks a little like Midday, but you can at least distinguish
Good, you're saying it looks a little more like Midday, but
enough from it. I think the coloring really stands out. Also, unfortunately, it looks a little like Midday, but you can at least distinguish enough from it. I think
you can at least distinguish enough from it? No, it's just this big thing over here, which you might not actually notice. It looks way too much like Midday. Yeah, if you look at a different angle like you did with the other picture, you could kind of see it. You could kind of see it. But when you look at it in the game, you don't really see it. And now you did say that you don't really have much to do with the in-game. But this could have been a lot more bigger, you know, like go into the eyes, like Midnight, a Pokemon that you needed to make it see more of because it's both of them basically fused together, but just in another form.
But you can at least distinguish enough from it. I think the
No, you
coloring really
can't.
stands out. Also, unfortunately, having the reveal, I think it might be just a little too saturated in orange, that we have orange on the Dusk form, and it's also taking...
The orange and the green eyes are fine, it's just that the actual design of what they have with it is the
place during a dusk or twilight time during the game, so maybe it does kind of like drown out some of the impacts, so we don't really...
That's not really the problem.
Have a lot, but you can see that on Midday Lycanroc too, that you have like brown on the walls, you have like this darker colored grass, you know, it's not like a very lush, vibrant green grass right there, and then we just have Midday. Now, Midnight Lycanroc definitely stands out a lot more, and I think that it's still, even with the introduction of Dusk form, that it's still going to be my favorite, and maybe the best of the three.
Personally, Midnight is still my favorite because it looks too much like Midday to just stand out.
But that doesn't mean that's a bad reveal. That just because we're getting something new added on to this now trio of forms doesn't mean that the new thing has to be the best. I think that...
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Like, as I just said, I like Midnight more than...
That's what people were going into. It's like, it has to be better, and if it isn't, then it sucks, but context, guys. You just have to add it up and make it all look the same. And then also, going back to the anime, there's a couple of people that are just saying, like, oh, the anime looks so much better. Why couldn't they do that for the game? Because the anime...
Well, for the anime, like, as you can see in a before picture, the hair over here is really big. That's pretty big. Like, even got cut out over there. But in the actual game, it's really short that you won't notice it first glance. Most likely, you might just see a little thing and think, hey, that's kind of like Midnight. But that's the only thing from it. Like me, that's what I just saw. So after this, he's kind of just talking about something else, like fan art and stuff. So that does end it. So why did I make this video? Because I was really mad at these minute and 30 seconds. I just wanted to talk about it. I just really hated it. So that ends off the video. So all in all, it looks too much like Midday, and it needs to look more like Midnight. So that ends it off for the video. So guys, bye!